Yeah, the collider is right in the middle. I think the buildings are just hitting each other. So now we need to get back into... All right, well, somehow our buildings are getting mixed in with each other. I think what I'm going to do is put them all... where's this thing? Okay. Make them all at one end of... See, that's on the x-axis. Okay, we're going to take the first building in our range, take all of these buildings down, put them at the end of the train, right, of the center of our collider, so that basically, actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to put them at the this part of our collider. It's going to be at 0, 0, 0. It's there. Let's see this. No, a little bit too far. Let's move this to about there. See if that helps us out a little bit. Because what will happen is, let's find our spawn point. I think what's happening is it's spawning here. The building is wide across this spawn point, which means that it's spawning potentially into the rest of the level. The timing is not actually going to change here, but what will happen is I'll be able to delete my buildings a little faster. Not faster, but the sort of physical logic of what's going on is the front part of this is the collider. And hopefully I'll be moving the collider out of the way of the next building in line. So let's apply this change. Turn this off. Okay, let's go to our uScript. Building spawn time 1.9. Let's walk it down. Oh, shitbags. Something broke. Did you see how many buildings got built? Let's do this. Okay, script. Oh, because I made it 0. Hold on. Actually, let's do this here because I think doing it in real time is going to cause us some issues. Let's call this 1.8. I just realized that. What happened was I changed the value in that field to 0 and it just started kicking out buildings. 1.8. So this might work. I have a feeling that it's not going to work perfectly for us. And what we may need to do is actually, 1.5. What we're going to have to do is something a little more complex, which is create some different buildings, come up with a spawn logic that works for them, and have them not be, let's see, not spawn right on top of themselves, but we have to not have them be dependent upon colliding with each other, because what's happening is they're colliding with each other and stopping. What I'd like for them to do is not actually have collision on the buildings. Let's actually remove this, or turn off this box collider on this building, find this brick building, turn off this box collider, apply that, go to the red one, apply that to all reds. That should at least take the colliders off of our buildings. Let's try that out. Right, they came through invisible because I applied it invisibly. Right. Okay. Apply, turn this back off, double check that these have box colliders. Actually, what I want to do is select this prefab. Not that one, this one. New box collider. Turn off that box collider. Okay, we're good to go. So these should have no colliders. Let's see, they do. On, turn them all off. Okay, let's do this now. I just went directly to the prefab instead of dicking around with yep. Still running into each other. So you see what's happening is they're not getting to the death trigger. Just shy by probably, let's do this. I'm going to change their speed to 6. Okay. But what's going to end up happening, right, is we're going to have, we're still going to have a gap in our buildings, right? So what we need to do is fill in that gap. I think the right way to do this is probably remove some of the restrictions of how I've actually got this built. Is like the buildings are so close to the camera as far as their spawn time, etc. What's going on, and also these building blocks are so big that they've become unwieldy as far as how to deal with them. So it may be easier for me to do something like reduce it down to 3 or 4 buildings and spawn them next to each other all kind of at the same time. So it's 11:12. Hey Josh, so they're piling up because of their physics is colliding, and basically it's overloading. The rigid body is saying, "Dude, I'm running into myself. I'm running into the next one in the line, and it's totally stopping the physics." Right? So I can make them ignore each other. I can do something where the I think I can turn off their collision with each other. We can dick with that, but that's a more complex problem than just getting our spawning correct. So what we need them to do is actually not collide with each other, because we're spawning them, you know, at a controlled interval. Right now it's just kind of a little bit out of control. Does that make sense, Josh? Hold on a second. Sorry, just looking at my notes. I want to see if I loaded a certain. Yep, sure had. Okay. We can do. Yeah, I've made a sloppy mess here. I think what I need to do is come back through and clean a lot of this stuff up. So let's do. I don't want my move logic, etc., on the same chain as my sort of timing spawn logic. And I think what I'm going to do is remove this piece. Oops. I actually don't need that anymore. I'm going to remove this piece. We're going to copy this. We're going to open up our building logic. How's everybody doing on time? Josh, do you have other stuff to do? Because I can stop at this point. Action, event, game event, graph event, on graph enable. And action. See, game object, movement. Move to to location. I'm doing this trigger method here, but now that I've moved this move to location here on this object, I think what I'm going to do is kill this trigger method, right? And we are going to do like we did on the other one, which is I want you to exist for a while and then destroy yourself, right? Let's do this. Kill this. We're going to go back to our building block, turn it back on, turn off the box collider, remove the rigid body component so they're not running into each other, right? Keep our buildings. So apply this, kill this, go back over here, mission control, move to location, and location, let's just call it 40. Use as offset, transition time. What was it called over here in our uScript? Building move time. Okay. So variable float. Transition time. Move. Target is ourself, right? So when this graph is enabled when the building comes into being, right? So I am going to actually delete this. When the building is spawned, it will start its own graph. So there will be a little bit of a delay in that, but as soon as it gets started, I mean it's a couple of frames, it will move. Use as offset true down the line, and then destroy itself after whatever this time is. Let's save this. Now we're guaranteed to pull that logic off of wherever we were. We won't be spawning buildings that have physics that can interrupt each other, right? In fact, now they can overlap each other, and we'll be all right. It'll look ugly, but let's delete these two. Building and location. Delete that one. I'm not going to worry about tuning it right now, especially since we're running a little shy on time. Okay, so Josh, I think I'm going to keep going a little bit. Let's go to here. Okay, time pressure's off some. Everything's saving, and we should be good to go in a second. Drink some coffee. Oh, they're not moving. They're piling up. Let's see. Time to spawn buildings 1.7. We're good to go with that. Now let's look at our building. There's no exposed variables on our buildings, so we didn't finish compiling, right? Or I didn't expose the buildings. There we go. Expose to Unity. Let's do variable vector 3. This distance. Expose this to Unity. Move it 40 on X. Transition time, let's make this a default 5. Okay, there we go.